As you may or may not know, I've been putting together a new museum display comprising of a Stormtrooper blaster, which is made from a Sterling submachine gun, and a screen accurate cast from original Stormtrooper helmet. The idea was that we would put them on display for people to come and see, learn a little bit of history about the props. Today, at 11 o'clock, we are going into Tier 3 lockdown. I think what it means is we can't do anything, but if you're in the House of Commons, you can eat and drink and carry on as normal. Well, a bit of politics there. This is my Sterling, it's down here actually. So, that is the body of the Sterling submachine gun. I don't know if you can see through there. One of the cool things about this job is I had to learn how to field strip that, and I've said this before in a video. The thing that taught me how to field strip a Sterling submachine gun was a video of a computer game on YouTube, which I think is absolutely terrifying, because that's the reference that I used. Now, Stormtrooper Blaster was created by a guy called, I've got it written here, very clever Englishman called Roger Christian, and if you can, there is a documentary called The Galaxy That Britain Built, which is just superb, and it goes over this crew in Britain getting a small sum of money and going out there and finding this stuff and turning it into the props that were in the original Star Wars film and subsequent films afterwards. So what I did is I decided I wanted to build my own Stormtrooper blaster out of a Sterling submachine gun, which is easier said than done in England, so I had to buy a deactivated one, which is why it has this certificate on here. Now, to further ruin it, I was going to build two. One was going to be a beat up one, which was like they were in the film, and this one we've had it field stripped and powder coated and custom chromed, and we were going to put the two together, but I can't buy another one at the minute because Britain's left the EU and you can't buy deactivated firearms. So I'm stuck with one that looks minty new as it would do out of the box. So it's not particularly screen accurate, but it is as screen accurate as I could get it. And I've also kit bashed bits to look like the original parts on the blaster as well. There is a scope over there which I'm going to spray paint in a minute. So I'm just going to give that a spray, tidy up the top of that which I've scratched. Now, I painted this yesterday in matte black because I didn't have any gloss, and I think it looks better in gloss, so I'm going to spray it back. I went and bought some last night. So welcome to my makeshift spray booth. And then add to this. What I'm basically doing is I'm giving it a final clean and tidy up and make it look minty fresh again, because it had a few dints and dings in it. I resprayed that yesterday. We had the I think that's the part of the firing pin, or part of the firing mechanism anyway, and that's been custom chromed. The barrel inside, which no one will ever see, but I know it's there, has been custom chromed. The little bolts at the front there. This track is interesting. Stormtrooper blaster comprises of a Hensler counter, an M38 scope. I'm just going to go and get it actually because it's behind me here. So one of these scopes, a bent piece of metal rail, and some T-track, which is also on the hilt of this lightsaber as well. And I'll get that up close. Now, if you go on whitearmour.net, there are two very, very brilliant makers who have measured this with micrometers and recreated it as accurately as possible. And all you have to do is buy it, heat it, and push it through the sinkholes in there. And so that's what I did. So that's the Stormtrooper blaster. Basically, it's a Sterling submachine gun with a few bits put on it, and you're away. And that is the brilliance of the Star Wars universe. A lot of the objects are found objects. Now, on my desk here are the bits to go on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble that. I don't know whether I'm going to do it in time lapse. I don't know whether I'm going to do it like this and then speed it up, but obviously with people walking around in the shop, I might have to put a visor on, but this is just a quick sort of look at what you get inside a Stormtrooper blaster, inside a Sterling submachine gun. That's not a real Hensler counter, by the way. They cost about 300 quid. This is, like I say, kit bashed from a very, very good maker on Etsy. That's a real Hensler pin there that I've glued on the end. but this looks, I've painted it up. Normally these would all be sprayed black, but I've painted it more to look like a Hensler counter. I've been really nerdy about everything looking new. And I've also set the date on the, a lot of Stormtrooper blasters have 1138 on there for THX, but I've done 1977 because that's the year that my mind was blown by all this stuff. So, I'm going to put this back together now. Oh no, I'm going to give it a clean first and then I'm going to put it back together. And that also sounds like my wife's back now, so I'm going to get shouted at in a minute for doing this and being in the way, but it's all part of the fun of the job. There are a few dings and scratches, but the guy who powder coated this for me did an exceptional job really, because the gunk and sludge on it was incredible. A bit of real life going past there as well. Hope they're alright. So yeah, did an incredible job, because the gunk and slime on this, I don't know how he cleaned it off, because we had about 10 tubs of nitramores on it to strip it back and we couldn't do it, so it's been boiled. You can see the deactivation there as well. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there's a great big hole carved out of it there with the blowtorch so that it won't fire ever again, and it's been drilled through there and the barrel was sealed in. So I'm going to get this assembled. Hello dear.
You're right in the way, weren't you?
Told you she'd say that. There's a guy outside with an angle grinder, so the sound quality might be terrible on this in a minute, but I'll try and get done quickly. Now, if you're building anything like this, do the masking off properly, take your time, do the painting and do it right. Otherwise it takes you more time in the long run, which is what I've done today. I've painted this badly and I've had to go and redo it. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there is a tiny line around the front of that now, where there's two different colours of paint, which is going to annoy me for the rest of my life, but I can't be bothered to strip it all off and do it again. So this is the final bit of assembly for the Sterling, and you can't see it, so I'll slide this back like that. So that is the Hensler counter, the M38 scope, all the screws and nuts and bolts, and that little bit of electronics with a magnet on it, all to go on the rail. And then I've got this down here at the minute. My Stormtrooper blaster is finished and ready for its new museum display. Now again, I think I said at the start of the video, we are going into tier 3 lockdown, so potentially people might not be able to come to the museum to see this, so we might actually move it down into the shop, which is kind of cool, is all I can say. But for now what I'm going to do is assemble this. I've taken this off the counter because people keep looking at me in a bit of a scared way when I'm holding a submachine gun in a shop in this kind of climate. But I wouldn't do anything, honestly, and it's deactivated so it doesn't work. I'll pop that back down there anyway, and I will crack on with this in time lapse. If you're passing Blackpool and you want to come and see this, pop in and have a look.